Hey guys, Ken from Oz Tuning, and finally we are back with another episode of Project Alpha Spec. Now you might notice that my car's not here right now. That's because, well, we're doing a few more modifications. That'll come out in another video here in the future. But for now, we're back here at BTS Performance in Sao Paulo. And you know, we've got a couple of really cool projects here in the garage right now. And you know, I figured we'd take a moment here before we get into the Project Alpha Spec update, just show some of the projects that are going on here. Kind of give you an idea of why we are such strong partners with BTS and to show you really what they're capable of here. Just so to remind everyone of what the idea behind Project Alpha Spec was. Well, as I mentioned earlier in the first video, you know, Ford gave us this really great sports car, independent rear suspension, amazing brakes, great 10-speed automatic transmission that shifts gears quickly up and down. Just a fantastic car. Really not so much a muscle car anymore. Still goes fast, you know, lots of power, great straight line acceleration. But hey, now we've got a car that can take corners. We've got a car that can stop and accelerate. So, you know, picking up on that and kind of what that really great platform that Ford engineers gave us, we just wanted to make that, you know, take it a step further and really just kind of build the ultimate sports car. You know, the idea being that we can take this thing out to the track, we can run HPD events with it, do time attacks, track days, and still use the car every single day. I mean, it's still a premium loaded performance pack 1 car with, I mean, heated, cooled seats, the whole 9 yards. So, you know, we haven't lost anything. We've just made this car much more fun to drive, a lot more power, an amazing suspension, amazing brakes. And so we're going to talk about that today. You know, starting here with, this is one of our latest projects that we just wrapped up. This is a BTS 800 package, which we call the 800 package because of the horsepower rating. This is actually a Whipple supercharger that we installed on this one. The Vorsteiner wheels, GT500 kit, the whole 9 yards. And this one just made right at 800 wheel horsepower on the dyno here as well. We run these cars on the Brazilian E30 fuel. That is our premium fuel here. And the car is amazing, drives amazing, looks killer. And this is just one of the projects we built here. You know, moving forward, we've got a little bit of everything here at BTS. So this is actually a 55 T-Bird that we're starting a resto mod project on here real soon. There's a video on the BTS YouTube channel in Portuguese. So, you know, if you guys want to learn some Portuguese, you can definitely check that out. But there's going to be a really cool series of videos about this project as well. So beautiful, amazing car, and just so classic and unique, you know, and there's not many of these in the States. And, you know, we've got one here in Sao Paulo, which is crazy as well. Moving on, wow, what an animal that we've got here. This is C6Z06. This is actually one of Fernando's personal cars, and this is the fastest street car, or what we would call a prepared car here in Brazil. The fastest time at our local racetrack, which is known as Interlagos, is what everybody typically knows it as. Interlagos, which is actually the home of the Brazilian Formula One Grand Prix. And of course, you see this thing's just built to the hilt. It's a LS7 motor, naturally aspirated, it's making about 600 wheel horsepower. You can see the ZR1 brakes, carbon ceramic brakes, full JRZ suspension underneath it, obviously full aero package as well. The car is just absolutely amazing. It's got a PPG sequential transmission in it, and the car is absolutely amazing. So, you know, obviously with BTS being able to build something like this, then it's not too tall of an order for them to build a dual purpose street track car like what we're doing with Alpha Spec. And then rounding out the projects we have here is the Maverick, the number 16 Maverick. This is another one of Fernando's cars. Obviously, this is just a full-on race car. We race this car in a series here in Sao Paulo called Força Livre, which is basically kind of like run what you brung. You can basically have whatever modifications you like on the car. Obviously, there's some rule sets, but it's pretty much, you know, whatever you want to put on the car, and you bring it out and you race it. And as you can see, we've got a belly pan underneath, full suspension, you know, Heim joints at every corner for alignment, suspension articulation, whole 9 yards. Some big giant brakes behind those center lock wheels, full aero package, and the car is absolutely amazing. So if they can do this, of course they can do our project, right? So Project Alpha Spec, you know, it's been a little while, and it's not for trying. Unfortunately, you know, here in Brazil, we've got to import all these parts, and as everybody knows, with all these delays recently with COVID, limited availability of parts, back orders, et cetera, even just shipping the parts here can be a bit of a hassle. You know, we ship most things through shipping containers, ports are busy, it's hard to get stuff, so it's taken a while. Unfortunately, but we're finally making some progress. So currently, on Project Alpha Spec, we've spec'd the car all the way up to one of our BTS 600 plus packages, which is a naturally aspirated package that we mount on these cars, consisting of a set of long tube headers with eco-friendly cats. We have a BTS Performance made X-pipe that we make from stainless steel by hand here in-house. We combine that with, on my car, we've got a ported bullet intake manifold along with a ported bullet throttle body, both from AFS. Shout out to Brett from AFS. And we've got also a Steeda ProFlow closed intake as well. That's the base package. And then recently we also installed a set of L&M's intake and exhaust matched paired cams. And wow, what a difference these cams made. A lot of work getting everything adjusted to get the cam timing exactly where they needed to be. Probably 30 or 40 revisions in the tune to get all the part, throttle, cam positions correct. But wow, what a difference. This car is absolutely amazing. You know, even mid-throttle, part throttle, full open, the power band is so smooth and linear, which is exactly what we want in a project like this. We want to make sure that we've got that smooth, linear power delivery when we're coming out of corners, that we can trust our throttle inputs and we're not going to upset the chassis of the car. So that was paramount to this whole entire project, and you know, we've really nailed it. Along with those engine modifications, we have done an enormous amount of work on the suspension part of things. So we've got a kind of a smorgasbord of a couple of different things. We're running, we've got some Ford Racing MagnaRide springs on the car. We've got actually their handling pack, which includes the reflash for the MagnaRide suspension, upgraded sway bars, the lowering springs. We're also running Vorschlag camber caster plates in the front, which are absolutely amazing. We've done a mixture of some Steeda parts underneath. So we've got Steeda parts on the front control arms to correct the roll center with the higher ball joints. We've run in the rear, we've got SPC adjustable rear camber arm. We've also got Cortex Racing monoballs for the rear lower control arms. And tying that all up with proper alignment, bump steer kit as well from Steeda. And we're able to get a really, really nice spec on our alignment from all these parts that allows us to both use this car in the street, and it carves corners amazingly. And then when we're ready to go to the track, we've got all the versatility that we can really dial in that alignment, throw in some more negative camber, adjust the toe, and really get this thing dialed in so that when we take it to the track and throw the slicks on it, that this thing is an absolute monster. Of course, you can't go to the track without being able to stop. So we upgraded the brake system as well. We're running Steeda two-piece rotors, which are a huge improvement in terms of rotational mass. Really made a difference in both the handling of the car, stopping, braking, acceleration. Combine that with some Hawk pads. We've run both the HPS pads that we run on the street, and then we've got some DTC compound pads that we're going to put on to the car when we take it to the track next time. So all in all, we've kind of brought this package together full circle. A couple of bumps in the road along the way where we had to, you know, take a couple of steps backwards so that we could take a step forward. But we're finally got to the point where we're really making some progress on this thing. So recently we were able to take the car out to Interlagos to do a little bit of a shakedown on it. And you know, while I like to think that I'm a really good race car driver, you know, I do luckily have a friend of mine that's actually a little bit better than me. So let's bring him in here now. Fernando, come on in. How are you, my friend?
Welcome,
so,
BTS again.
So we did the shakedown at Interlagos.
Yes.
And you could probably tell by the smile on his face, it went pretty well. Give everybody your impression of the car, what you thought about the car.
That we remember it's a street car. For a street car, it's monster. It's amazing. I love it. Drive these cars in Interlagos. It's a Formula One track, and this Mustang Interlagos, amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we went to Interlagos, Fernando was also doing the shakedown of his Maverick at the same time. A lot of changes on the Maverick, completely redid the chassis and suspension, and things just weren't really working the way that he wanted them to, and that's part of race cars. Anybody that's built race cars knows that. And so I asked Fernando, hey, go take my car for a couple laps, because we wanted to see where it was. Obviously, Fernando has been driving Interlagos track for more than 30 years, yeah? Experience at Interlagos. So it's safe to say he knows the track pretty well. So he went out, did some laps, and came back like a kid in a candy store, smiling like this. And
the handle is perfect. The transmission temperature is okay. Everything in this car is great.
Yeah, we have a couple details still to fix, and it's. I'm glad you said about the transmission. I forgot. We've installed a Mishimoto oil cooler. Mishimoto sells as a cooler for the oil system. We've actually converted it and used it as a cooler for the transmission. These 810 transmissions, the 10R80s, they do get hot, especially at track days when you're running it really hard. So we've been able to install that, and the last time out at the track, it worked perfectly. We had no more problems with the transmission getting too hot. Didn't enter in a protection mode or anything like that, which is great.
I turned off all assistance in the car, and the pedal shift or tuning for the transmission is perfect.
He tells me this now that he turned off traction control, right? My car, and he turns off the traction control. Thanks, buddy. So we did have one major problem, well, two problems at the track, which you're going to see in the video. First one, our fault. We forgot to change the brake pads. We went to the track with our street brake pads. Yep. That didn't work. 2 laps, okay. 3rd lap, not so much.
We'll fix it.
Yeah, so we'll put race pads on the next time. But it's okay. It was a shakedown. We weren't looking to break records. And the other is
the fuel. Use gasoline?
Yeah. We went with gas. We didn't plan very well, so I showed up to the track with a half tank of gasoline, and then we put some ethanol on top of that. So we weren't really at the full potential of the car. We weren't able to keep the motor as cool as we could if we were running on pure ethanol. So next time we'll do that. And we also have to fix an issue, which is very common with these cars when you start to track these cars and you start to really enhance the suspension, enhance the slick tires, yes. The lateral G's that the car is capable of pulling. Anytime that you're in a left-hand turn, all of the fuel leaves from the driver's side of the fuel tank and goes to the passenger side. Well, the fuel pump is on the driver's side, so no fuel pump, you have some problems there. So we ran into that. The solution temporarily is that you basically have to run with a full tank. Well, that's not ideal because that's a lot of weight. Fuel is heavy. So we have a solution we're working on right now with our friends from BTS Performance Solutions. Shout out to Jamie. And we're going to work on a solution for this, which we'll have more details about in a future episode. But once we fix that, I think that we have a few more seconds in this car left still, yes, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so we're going to keep bringing you a few more videos here now that we've kind of got everything coming together. Fernando is going to be driving more. He's our resident, the Stig here in Sao Paulo, the Brazilian Stig, yeah. Right? So we're going to have some more videos coming soon. So again, apologize for the huge delay, but we're really excited to showcase what we have working on right now with you guys. So we'll be back real soon. You guys stay tuned.